Surveillance experts around the world are actually raising the alarm over the growing abuse of hidden spy cameras. Now, they're not just being used for security, but actually for voyeurism. Now, they're often cheap, they're very discreet, and they're easy to buy online. We've tried this morning. And they're miniature devices, and they're being planted, everywhere. If you believe the expert, they're literally being planted everywhere. Toilets, changing rooms, even inside private homes. And the twist is that the victims don't know about it. Alarmingly, say the watchdogs around the world say it's a disturbing trend, that it's growing fast, and they're actually calling for some sort of regulation. Now, obviously, we don't have that yet. And instead, we're sort of in this slightly amorphous situation where if you're worried about it, well, you have to go out there and find them yourself. Joining me now is someone who actually found one, hidden in his Airbnb on one of his recent holidays. Inzi joins me now on the agenda. Where were you staying?
So I was in an Airbnb in Istanbul, in quite a posh part of Istanbul as well. So I didn't really want to stay in a hotel because, one, the prices were extortionate at that time. And two, I sometimes like the freedom of an Airbnb. I was there for a few days. Like sometimes I like to cook or, just kind of have people over. And I've got a lot of friends there in Istanbul. So I wanted an Airbnb specifically, and I am quite thorough when it comes to picking places. Like I will trawl through reviews, I will go through loads of different options, make sure it's perfect for me. And this one that I found was a stunning location, and it's the one that I wanted.
So you took it,
Yeah.
You were happy, you were staying there. How many days did you stay?
3 nights.
And then what happened?
So the whole time it was perfect. It was a beautiful place, a really, really lovely apartment, had everything around me that I needed. But it was on the final day, the final night. I woke up in the middle of the night, needed to go to the loo, popped to the toilet, and I saw a red light come on in the mirror of the bathroom. Now, it's a huge mirror over what was 2 sinks, actually, dual sinks, so a his and her sink. And the mirror, which faced directly to the shower, had a little red light at the bottom of it. And I was thinking, that's a little bit weird. I've not seen that for the whole stay. And then I went to kind of investigate. I thought initially it was one of those fancy mirrors where you get a TV in it. You know, I was with the remote trying to turn it on, see if that was working. There was no remote in the bathroom, so I used the telly remote. And I thought, no, this is a little bit odd. So I turned the lights off. I got my phone out, put the flashlight of my phone on, and investigated, and I could see a tiny little black camera next to this red light. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Okay, so what could this camera see? Could it see you if you went to the loo, or could it see the shower? I mean, both are bad.
Yeah. So initially, the mirror points directly at the shower. Okay. And then, so basically the shower door and the bath, which was next to it as well. But when we kind of investigated it and found out and looked into it, and I spoke to people all about this later down the line, I actually found out that this camera that was installed in this mirror was actually almost like a 180-degree view wide lens camera. And so it could literally probably see the whole of the bathroom. So whether you're on the toilet, whether you're in the bath, whether you're in the shower, right up next to the sink, of course, as well. And so it was literally full view of the whole bathroom. Now, I know it's obviously not a joking matter. I'm not the most aesthetically pleasing human in the world, and so you wouldn't want to see me in a bathroom. However, you can just imagine the sheer number of people who've probably gone through that bathroom with that camera on and the full view.
What did you do? I'm traumatized just listening to the story. I can't imagine how you felt. But what did you do immediately in that moment?
I think I was just a little bit I think I was just a bit confused at first, because I was firstly, I just wanted to make sure it absolutely was a camera. And so this was the middle of the night. I think it was about 1:30 in the morning. I called the landlord, the number that was on the Airbnb that was provided. I called that person and I was like, look, I've spotted something in the bathroom. I think it's a camera. Can you tell me what it is, or do you know anything about it? They then sent a maintenance person around. This maintenance person came at 4 a.m. and they checked this whole bathroom situation, the camera, the light. He had no idea. Also, his English wasn't great, so it was very difficult. I was Google translating everything. And then he got another maintenance person to come around, and he also was checking, and I made them take the mirror off the wall and unscrew the back of the mirror, and lo and behold, it was a camera connected. It had like a SD card in it as well, and so it was a very kind of convincing setup, but it looked directly at the whole bathroom.
Okay, so it's still in the early hours of the morning. I mean, how did you react to this? I mean, I would have absolutely lost my mind.
Yeah, well, I couldn't really kick off at the maintenance people.
No, because they,
Yeah, one, they didn't understand a word I was saying, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. I don't really speak the greatest Turkish. So then I called the landlord again, whose number I had, and I said, you need to get here because I'm going to report this to the police.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to report things to the police. I think out here it's quite easy. Even if you're a tourist, you've got the app and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in Turkey, I didn't really know. Anyways, the landlord came and I showed him everything. I was like, look, this is the camera. He was a bit flustered and acted like he didn't know anything about it initially. And then he was like, maybe it's my partner who I'm in this business with. We have a few other Airbnbs. Maybe it's him who's done this. And then he kind of came out and said, okay, yes, he knew about it. And it's something.
I mean, you're a journalist. You were going to get it out of him, let's be honest.
Literally, and I was kind of just chipping away at him for some time. I threatened to go to the police.
Yeah.
He got very emotional, like started crying in front of me, was like on his knees practically begging for me not to go to the police. And this was my last day, like I was leaving that morning. And so I was like, fine. I was like, took loads of photos.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just report this to Airbnb, which I did. Reported it to Airbnb. They actually gave me a full refund and compensation. And what they said to me, which I think was quite important and gave me a bit of kind of calm, was that they would update me about what would happen to this guy's property and his other properties as well. They haven't given me a full update as of yet.
Okay.
This was earlier this year, but I think they are on it. But what I have noticed is that this guy's listing is not any longer available on the Airbnb.
Okay, so that's reassuring, and I will tell you a little bit more about what Airbnb say about cameras and secret cameras and their policy a little bit later on. But I mean, more importantly, how do you feel?
Look, at first, I was just like, I want to make sure it absolutely is a camera. When I found that out, yes, I was like, okay, this is very weird. And my first immediate kind of thought was like, not about me. It genuinely wasn't about me just coming out of the shower in my towel and just sitting on the toilet at 1 o'clock in the morning, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't that. It was like the amount of people that have gone through this Airbnb with kids. It was a pretty big space. It was a family space, kind of kids, like women as well. And, women coming out of the shower and also what on earth is this person doing with this footage? Where is it going? Who's got it? Like, which folder and drive is this in?
Yeah.
And I actually asked the owner about this. I was like, where is the footage? He was like, I've got no idea. I don't know where it is. And this was the frustrating thing, because you've admitted to knowing that there's a camera there, so you surely must know where all this footage is and what you're doing with it.
Wow, there's still so many questions unanswered. I mean, you said there was an SD card. Did you take that out? Did you remove it? I mean, are you worried that there's images of you out there in the ether?
I took the SD card and I snapped it.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, I just snapped it right in front of the landlord. This was before I went. I kept everything there until he came and everything, took it out and I snapped it in front of the landlord. I've got no idea what was on there, how much data was on there.
Yeah.
But I think the big question is like, if you've got all this information, like what, I can't get in the mindset of someone like that. What are you actually doing with all of that imagery of so many different people?
It's just weird, isn't it?
I have heard stories, for example, when I go to Pakistan and I've kind of rented out apartments there, a lot of people have said to me, like, be careful, there might be cameras. They use it to kind of threaten you for money and all that kind of stuff. And that's something that potentially does happen in Pakistan. But I just did not think that this would happen in a very kind of modern, nice, flashy place in Istanbul.
Okay, advice for people who strangely still might want to stay in a rental. And obviously, it's not just this wouldn't just stop it happen in Airbnbs. It could happen in any rental, arguably. Do you think just be, I guess, look out for them? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've stayed in hotels since, and even then I've been a bit like, and I've kind of gone and checked them out, got my flash light out of my camera or my phone and just kind of scanned mirrors and rooms and things like that. I think that's one kind of thing that you could do, particularly the bathroom. Just turn all the lights off, get your flashlight out and see if you can see anything. Obviously, a little red dot sometimes can signal it. Some fancy bathrooms have got TVs in the mirror, which I thought it was. So, just kind of make sure that is the case. I just think, have a good scan of the apartment or the hotel room or whatever it may be.
Inzi, thank you so much. No. How easy is it to spy on someone with legally purchased kit? Well, joining me now to talk through it is Amir Motezi. He's the founder and managing partner at Core Mantis UAE. Amir, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. First of all, I just want to emphasise that although this happened in an Airbnb, of course, it could happen in any type of holiday rental. It's not specific to Airbnb. And Airbnb does have a clear policy prohibiting the use of indoor security cameras in all their listings worldwide. But Amir, okay, tell me, how easy is it to buy one of these types of cameras and install it behind your mirror?
The answer to the question is it's fairly easy. Just up Amazon and get one. It's fairly cheap, somewhere between 99 dirhams to 150 and above. You can find a simple one, and it's fairly easy to install.
How do they work exactly? Because obviously it's one thing to have a camera there, it's another thing to be able to access the data on it.
So, as your previous guest mentioned, they have SD cards in them, which basically it's a memory card which records the video. The lens obviously is a 180 wide angle lens, which covers approximately 180 angle. So after the SD has stored the video file or the pictures, it's uploaded through Wi-Fi. So it latches to existing Wi-Fi, or it could even search and find its own Wi-Fi network to connect to. It can connect to 5G devices and then up in the cloud.
Okay, this sounds horribly easy. Why are people doing this?
It's been monetized, and there are people who like to watch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess, there has to be a market for it. Otherwise, people wouldn't be doing it. Do you think this is a big problem? Do you think it's happening a lot?
It's happening a lot. It's in the past, I think 6 months or so, we've spoken at least twice about this.
Yeah.
So it's clearly an issue that's growing, and it's becoming more and more easier to get hold of them and install them.
It's a slightly horrifying trend. Yeah. But what protections are in place here in the UAE in particular?
So in UAE, this is absolutely illegal. There is a...
Illegal, to stress. Illegal.
100% illegal. Any sort of image capture or video capture of a private person without their knowledge is illegal. And of course, it goes without saying the distribution of it is also illegal. There is a cybercrime law that came into effect and was put in place in it. This is law number 34 of 2021, which basically clearly mentions that it's illegal. It also says that there would be a jail time of up to 6 months and a fine of somewhere between 150,000 to 500,000 dirhams.
Okay, I mean, that's really reassuring, but I suppose they've got to be caught first. And then, of course, what about the rest of the world? What can individuals do? What can I do? What can we do in order to protect ourselves? Because I have to say, I'm not going to stop using rentals. I like holiday rentals. I like staying in Airbnbs. I prefer them to hotels, especially when I'm traveling with my family. As a single female traveling alone, I'd probably go for a hotel, but en masse, I challenge anyone to take us on. But what can we do? What can I do to make sure that my children aren't being filmed when they're going into the bathroom, frankly?
Well, just not to scare you even more, but it doesn't have to be in the bathroom only. It can be on the clock radios or a charger that is connected to the side of the TV, so a power plug or anything like that. They're so tiny and they're virtually invisible. They could be in the lighting on the ceiling. Now, to detect these, there are devices that you can buy. They are called pinhole camera detectors, which is also available on Amazon and that can be purchased. There's also kind of another way of trying to find them, at least if you don't have one of these devices and you're already on a trip. Making the room dark as possible, and then using a flashlight of the camera to just scan around the room. And usually they have a sensor. These cameras have a night mode, which basically has an infrared sensor, and this infrared sensor reflects light. And so you might see a red dot. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, the previous guest found it exactly like that.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's actually a reflection of the red light, essentially, that comes out from the sensor.
Amir, scaring the life out of us this Thursday morning. No, I mean, it's good. You better to be informed and nervous than uninformed and filmed, frankly. I slightly worried. I stayed in three Airbnbs over the summer. So goodness knows. I mean, it does get you thinking, doesn't it?
Airbnb and alike, private residences that are going for rents, they have regulations. But as I think one of the messages is best to stay at hotels and very reputable places. And the reason for this is that they avoid having scandals. I mean, just imagine if the large chain has a scandal like this coming up. Yeah. You're not totally safe. Technically these days with tech getting smaller, faster, easier, and accessible to everybody, you're not really safe anywhere, but you can take precautions.